Hello. Hi guys, my name is Rob Clulo. The key areas of my campaign is awareness and accessibility of the services. So especially here in SB, the students being aware of the great support you get. I was just speaking to someone earlier today, how every week there is a drop-in session for veteran students earlier in the week. Another aspect is professionalising and improving the support you can get. So whether it's on UP or here, having potentially more counsellors or utilising professional practices around the area to get better support, which will lead hopefully a better foundation for each student to achieve more during their time here.
Hi everyone, my name is Akila Malik and fellow SB student, just saying. I'm here to improve experiences and welfare across campuses, especially Sutton Warrington, Derby, Kingsmeadow, Jubilee. And some of the things I want to improve are food, because I have to eat halal, so the vegetarian options here are quite limiting, and I seem to be having chips every day. And also improving the hopper because it's quite unreliable, and also encouraging inter-campus events.
Hi guys, my name is Sarah Picker. So my manifesto and sort of the reasons why I'm running for this role is based on kind of a 4-point system. The first is inclusivity, and a lot of that begins with week one. So I was a week one rep, and I'd love to see how week one is going to change and how we can get a real student input about how week one can be facilitated across the campuses to further improve inclusivity. Second is awareness, and that's particularly with mental health and how we can promote it better and increase the flexibility of support services. Then we've got safety, so particularly on nights out. I currently run an outreach team on a Friday night looking after students and making sure they get home okay, so just expanding that scope. And lastly, the transparency, so that kind of filters into everything previously mentioned, and how the FCU can be further structured and supported across the 3 different campuses.
Hi everyone, my name is Alison Ratcliffe. At the moment I'm one of the training officers for Nightline, and this is where kind of my background comes from, the reason I'm running. At the moment it's not very clear what support's available at the SU. The website's really unclear. I want to make sure that all the support that is available is accessible through that medium, because it is a really simple thing that can be changed. In terms of training and things like that, working with services such as UNAD and the Guild, different society sports teams, so that they know how to support students as well, and is making their events as inclusive and diverse as possible, because that can be achieved through the training, but not just giving out kind of a set book of, oh look, these are great events, but making sure they can be tailored, because I know that things that work on University Park aren't going to work on different campuses, so making sure they have a toolkit to be able to tailor those events and the publicity that come with those to the different kind of sets of students that they belong to, really. So I'd like you to talk to Kelly.
Hi everyone, thanks. I'm Kelly Clark, and what spurred me to go for the role was knowing people who have suffered since coming to uni. And from this I've realised how good the services are that the university provides, but if it wasn't for knowing these people I wouldn't know about these services. So what's key is that everyone has the access to these things. People keep speaking specifically about Sutton Bonington, but it's about the university as a whole. We don't need to keep dividing up the campuses. We're all University of Nottingham students, so all these services need to be accessible to everyone. Briefly about my manifesto, points include week one, so people get the knowledge they need from week one. That's including welfare information packs in halls, and also information talks for the halls and other campuses that don't necessarily feel that they get the information they need. As everyone has said, it's about inclusivity and everyone knowing what the university can provide for them.
Okay, who would like to give us our first question? URN at the back, please. Faster.
So quite a lot of attention has been put on the welfare aspect of the title. What policies would you bring in for equal opportunities?
Yeah, With equal opportunity, it's kind of going to be specified to each area. So where society, a network, a group of people are going to have an issue, I then hope they could then bring it to whoever gets the position. One of my manifesto points is having office hours, so people would come to me, raise the issue, and then we could work on it together. I think with things like equal opportunities, it's so diverse in what people need from that, so there's no point in saying, I'm going to do this, this and this, because it's not going to be applicable to every case. So having those office hours will enable people to bring forward certain issues and then work on them in a way that's appropriate for their needs and a way that can be manageable.
I think you've articulated that much better than I can. Yeah, in my manifesto I put a lot of points relating to different backgrounds, whether that be the liberation networks or the kind of different ethnicities of people, as well as where they're studying and what courses they do. Specifically to postgrads as well, making sure that they get the same access to services that the undergrads do. I'd like to be able to work with the representatives of different kind of groups, whether that be on the guild with the different networks here or on University Park with different networks there, with course reps to actually be able to hear the issues that those groups are currently facing and kind of facilitate their work in improving the circumstances that the students face, because I'm not going to be able to kind of work with everyone individually, but kind of facilitating the links that do such a great job currently to be able to actually improve the opportunities of students. And again, as Kelly said, kind of giving office hours, coming to different campuses, maybe kind of a couple of times a month, once a month, to be able to be there to communicate with those groups.
So I think it's so exciting to be part of a university that is so diverse, with students coming from all over the world, different backgrounds, different interests and different beliefs. And I think not to kind of repeat the same kind of word that keeps coming up over and over, but it's where the real transparency of the SU falls in. We want to make sure that each and every individual student feels like they are represented and that they do have a voice. So they need to be aware of the systems that are in place and just further improving the communication channels within the SU, so they feel that they can come and speak to the right person if they do feel discriminated against, or they have a certain issue, or they want to further promote their society or network, and making sure that the correct sorts of support is in place for that. So being able to work alongside, I will really strive to make myself available for that. I can't pretend to know the ins and outs of the different networks or the different campuses, but I can strive to make sure that I'm there to try and listen and understand and help them in the areas that...
Sorry, we're allowed to move on.
I had an interesting analogy today at a different talk I went to, and I thought it's quite relevant to the question asked. So the university can be seen as a picture, and the students that make it up, we're all pixels. I think that's important because every pixel is going to be different, so every student's different. So we have postgrads, undergrads, international students, home students, ethnic minorities, ethnic majorities, those of faith, non-faith, and I think it's important that everyone has the same opportunities throughout their education, and also an inclusion of all campuses and equal opportunities across the campuses, because I think Sutton Bonington feels somewhat forgotten in some of the activities which happen across the university, and that goes for all other campuses as well. I keep banging on about the campuses, but because I'm from there, I feel like I really truly can relate to this. And in my first 2 years, I can't say that I ever did anything at the main campus, because there was no one reaching out to me.
Wrap that up, please, I'm afraid.
Okay, I'm just going back.
Okay, so this university is one of the most multicultural universities in the UK, and the SU should follow that and be one of the most multicultural SUs. And I believe that when it comes to equal opportunities, it's very diverse with where it applies, whether it's you need people thinking you need a certain amount of financial backing to do certain things, or you need to be a certain type of person. This is where it needs to be addressed. And areas of like discrimination should never occur, and it has to be dealt with case-by-case basis. But how to address all of these issues at once is confidence in the SU, and students realising that the SU has every student's back, and having confidence in the structures of dealing with issues of equal opportunities and making sure everyone does have the opportunities they deserve to get involved in whatever they want to do, whatever they love, no matter what course they do, where they're from, what campus, and what background they have.
Thank you very much. Who's got the next question, please? Robert?
Hey, along my campaign trail I've heard a lot from different students about how they can't get access to some of the services they need, such as mental health, counselling, one thing and another, especially the vets, medics, people out on placement, such medics when they're out at different hospitals around. How would you go about improving that and making sure that it's available for them? Because it's going to be very difficult to implement that, like, outside university control.
Okay, great, thank you. So one of the things, like you say yourself, in terms of vet students, med students, they do have often a 9 till 5 timetable, and the counselling service, just as one example, is its opening hours are 9 till 4:30. So if you're not available during those times, you then can't go and seek the help that you need and are eligible for. So it's really a case of trying to work out the flexibility of counselling services, for example. So in terms of coming over to SB, they have comes twice a week, I think. But just making sure that those hours extend beyond the 9 till 5. So lobbying the counselling service and the university to make sure that they're available in the evenings or at a weekend, so that the kind of support services that all students, regardless of what campus they're on, are available. And it's the same for medics who have placements out, so say for Boston and Mansfield. There used to be in the past a kind of like support service at those things, but trying to work out how that can be brought back.
Sarah.
Yeah, along similar lines as Sarah, I've kind of put things in my manifesto about this. But I also think it's really important to make sure that the students who are let down by the university support know what support is available locally. A lot of nurses, vets and things go on placements where the university has never had support services. And being able to give them details of what is available locally through services in their local kind of where they're living or where they're working, to make sure that they feel like they can get support there, rather than just from the university counselling service or whichever service they are looking to seek help from. And potentially, as a lot of candidates have mentioned, having an online forum with kind of mental health support, things like that, so that they can access it from wherever they are, because it's not always going to be the case that the university is going to be there for them every step of the way. And that is a shame, but it is realistic, and you have to be able to support people or signpost them in the right direction when the university can't help them out.
Thanks. I hugely agree with what both Sarah and Alison have said, so I'm not going to repeat that. But along with that, I think I'd love to promote people just talking about mental health. It's such a common issue, and with people talking about it just within friendship groups and acknowledging that it's fine to, and the stigma being lost as much as possible, that may be the help that people need. So that will put less of a strain on the counselling services, and things like people not being able to be available at the same time as the counselling services. Obviously it's never going to apply to everyone, but if it can help a few people just by talking about their issues on a personal level with people they know, that could be enough, and therefore reduce that problem for some people. But along with that, what both Sarah and Alison have said, I don't want to repeat it all. Thank you.
I think building on what the other candidates have already said, so the services are there, but it's about improving them, and it makes sense that if most lectures are between 9 and 6, if we had like an evening session where people could drop in, that just makes, I've just thought of that now, that makes perfect sense, and why have we never thought about it before? And
just to follow up on that point, I think the reason why there isn't an evening session is because at the end of the day you've got to employ professional, SU staff, and they generally want to work a 9 to 5 day. So a model that's worked in a couple of other universities is that there's a short-term scheme where people sign up to a certain number of sessions in this particular time, and this is where you can have people who can't access them between 9 to 5. And it means that the services know that they're being used because they've got these people sign up to these schemes. We've got perhaps 3 sessions in 2 weeks, 3 sessions in a week, and therefore they're being utilised at a time where the student can use them, and the services aren't being wasted.
Okay, yeah, let's. I think we're going to have to call that a day.